We can't continue like this.
Well, as we wrap up the conversation, point noted, as we wrap up the conversation, unfortunately, we have to. It's been 2 weeks exactly since government placed a ban on the export of rice, soybeans and maize as part of measures to mitigate the impact of dry spell on our economy and also food supply. They also announced a raft of measures to help farmers who may be feeling the pinch of the dry spell. You are on the grounds engaging farmers. So far, have you received the 1,000 cedi per acre that government promised?
Yeah, we have not received the 1,000 cedis per acre yet because we had the problem with the data that government put up earlier. Because government has put up some information earlier and that they were going to work with that data. So we have a problem with that data in the first place. And then secondly, we were not in support of that ban because these cereals, maize and other foodstuffs that government was funding, nobody supported the farmers.
But it's already been implemented. So we want to see measures now that are put in place by government to mitigate the impact on you farmers. Do you think is effective so far? For example, government told you that you could sell some of your produce to them. With your data so far, has any of your members sold to government and at how much?
For us, as long as we are aware, we have not had any report of our members selling to government. Okay. Because in the first place, we had a problem with that measure. And this was because government should have met the stakeholders to negotiate and agree on, we needed to have what we call minimum guarantee price. At what price are we going to sell to government? You don't come out and then implement a ban and say we should sell to government. At what price? Because the farmers are bearing a high cost of production. There was no subsidy for them. Nobody supported our members to be able to produce food. So if we have not been supported and we have to bear the brunt of high prices of inputs in the market to produce this food, and you are placing a ban, secondly, you are telling us to go and sell to government at what price? So these measures that they are putting in place, we seriously disagree with them. That is why we expect government to come to the ground, engage stakeholders, engage the farmers on the ground, so that we see the way forward. The ban is not going to work because, like I said, nobody supported us to produce our foodstuffs. We produce that at a high cost. So how we are going to sell it to make our margins and sustain our business is very key to us. Secondly, government did not engage us to give us a guaranteed price that we are supposed to sell this particular foodstuffs to MOFA, to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. So
are you encouraging your members to boycott government because they failed to engage at the initial stages? Is that the case?
Yes, because there was no engagement. There was no engagement at the initial stage. And that is why these measures outlined by government, especially the ban, we totally disagree with government on that ban. We totally disagree with them. And then again, we have a problem with the data that government was presenting. So we expect that government should get in touch with the directors of food and agriculture at the various district level to be able to pick concrete data from the farmers, because we have a problem with that information. And that is why we in the Peasant Farmers Association, like I indicated earlier, we have not received any form of support in terms of the production. We are buying inputs at high prices in the market, and we will not sit down and allow this to happen to our members, not to be able to sell their food products. Some have already received money from people across, from our neighbors, to be able to produce enough food to supply them. So if I receive money from somebody in Burkina Faso or from Togo to produce sorghum or whatever, and now you are saying I can't sell to that farm, to that person, I have to sell to government, and I've not even negotiated a minimum guarantee price. At what price are we selling? So we look at the whole measures that we put in place that it is quite problematic. So government has to go back and re-engage. The stakeholders are there, we can sit on table with government to do re-engagement and look at all these measures that government is putting in place, whether it's really going to ensure that we become self-sufficient in food production. But as we as farmers on the ground, the measures we think are not going to solve any problem. These measures announced by government will not solve any problem.
Thank you, Awal.